Good morning, everyone. Um, I just wanted to go through, I think Candace Owens' podcast last night, I think was a little of a letdown. I think we were expecting some more photos or something of what had happened at Fort Huachuca. I don't know what information she has. People are speculating. But what I did want to get into, because this is like, I'm getting so sick and tired of this, but it is par for the course. As I say, I've been doing this for 20 years. I mean, most of the people involved in all of the podcasters involved in the investigation, um, well, in the investigation, few are, their careers have been 20 years. So anyway, this is my third career, fourth career. Yeah. So what I wanted to go over is like where are we in the Charlie Kirk assassination? What's been accomplished apart from a lot of squabbling and people shooting at all sorts of things and wasting lots and lots of meat. What do you got? You can't eat that stuff. I hope you at least give it to the dogs. So, um, Charlie Tyler Robinson was not a lone shooter, uh, but we still don't know who killed what killed Charlie Kirk. So until we get the ballistics and we know what killed Charlie Kirk, you're not until you know like the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk, you're not going to know what the weapon was, where it came from, and also was it a bullet, electrocution, explosive device? Everybody, I mean, this is interesting. I mean, I'm learning a lot about ballistics. I know absolutely nothing. Um, that's interesting. And I think that's precisely what you want in an investigation is people to come forward and go, well, I came up with this idea. They came up with that. It's called a hypothesis. And then you either prove or disprove your hypotheses. And well, okay, it couldn't be that, so we'll move on and we'll try some. But if everybody would work together and be, it's happening a little bit, but more squabbling than anything else. Uh, so the response of TPUSA, its board members and well, its executive members, because the board members we haven't really that's come up recently and those need to be investigated. So they have had a very bizarre reaction. I mean, they keep online. They don't want you. You would think, well, yeah, of course, if you have suspicions that something's not right here. I mean, my first reaction was like, yeah, right, okay, another one. I mean, there's so many false flags and so many assassinations and so much going on with the government. I mean, one of the reasons I think that they're afraid of the Mitch Snow case is the dirt that he has and what he knows about the involvement of the Americans and military and CIA in bringing in drugs, wanting the drug trade to continue and wanting the drugs to come into the United States, particularly in the inner cities, in the Black communities. Check it, Maxine Waters' Wikipedia profile at the bottom, one of the things that you'll find that. So we know all about that. Uh, you know, we all know, but they're afraid of it's coming out. Yeah. Um, okay, so they've just been evasive, they've been lying, they contradict themselves, they make up stories. As I keep saying, I kind of am in agreement with Andrew Bustamante that we're dealing with like 100% corruption, incompetence, instead of just, corruption, that it's stupidity is the problem. And I do highly agree with that. I've been talking, and this comes from narcissism epidemic that was started by Cornelia Guest and Nancy Reagan and all the preppies and yuppies. This is Tucker Carlson's generation, my generation, in the 1980s. Um, and this has trickled down. Yeah, Reagan's trickled down stuff that worked in certain areas and it's had a really bad effect. That's why his trickle down theory didn't work, because you can't have a society where you have equal distribution of wealth, because if you want to build some company or a bridge or something, you're always going to have certain people who are have a talent in organizing others and coming up with ideas and putting those ideas into implementing them. So you'll always have that. So you are going to have a certain hierarchy just by the nature of mankind. Now, what you want is that the people at the top are not exploiting the people at the bottom, but that it's my upcoming video, I'll talk about this. But changing how we view the structure of society. As I say, the coming video, get into that. So then the next thing, podcasters and friends of Candace. During the after she launched the Mitch Stowe story, just before going on vacation for 2 weeks, she had everybody calling her and telling her that she had to denounce Mitch Snow, that he was a liar and all sorts of stuff. And Mitch Snow was getting phone calls telling him that he had to denounce Candace. Now, this is the typical tactic. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. So you want to try and say, oh, no, let's be friends. Let's be friends. Oh, God. Let's be friends. Let's be friends. Do I know this game? Ugh. It's so catty. Excuse me, pussy. There are, like, what else do you want me to say to you? Like, no, it really is catty women tactics. That's how sissies. Gary Melton, this is particularly directed at you. How sissies act. So, and had to denounce her. Okay, and yeah, the podcasters, I mean, they've been squabbling and squabbling and squabbling. Quite frankly, more energy and resources were spent on this denouncement and this cancel culture campaign that they had going on, and squabbling between themselves. And that like, you guys, if you would use all of these resources to advancing the investigation, maybe we would get somewhere. I mean, see, I've been doing this with the protective mothers. I mean, all of the groups. This is why Trump got into power. And he was successful and he was very popular in his first days in office, because he did take charge. And the first thing he said is she's shit is being thrown out. No more. And so, yeah, sometimes you do need a dictatorial, enough is enough. You people are crazy. This is, I'm not going to discuss this. So, Gary Melton uses that anytime anybody disagrees with him. So, yeah, that's the other extreme, and you don't want to have, but you do need some leadership. So, this, and then I'm not platforming that person. I mean, I know that's also all of these years, why Cornelia Guest. I mean, can you imagine in 2010, I asked Cornelia Guest if she wanted to come on with Global Expats at the same time as Ingrid Betancourt from Colombia. I was like, oh my God, wouldn't that be funny to have cocaine snorting Cornelia Guest from the preppies and the yuppie and the golden age, working on, getting rid of drug consumption as well as drug production in the southern borders, which is Ingrid Betancourt. No, Ingrid wants to, she launched her 2022 campaign. I mean, she would have won if she had worked with me, but no. Now she's going to have to answer to the courts of what she's been doing these past years. 20 years it's been. Um, and what's her face? Cornelia Guest. She's still trying to launch her acting career after 40 years. Give it up. I mean, it's funny, the actresses used to want to be the ladies, and ladies, lords, and dukes, well, duchesses, and queens, and all of that. Um, you see that in the book that I've been working on. But now it's switched, and all of the princesses want to become actresses, and the actresses have taken over. The actresses and the sugar baby models like Melania Trump. And then Usha Vance is, and I mean, it's like, come on, America first, and Trump is surrounded by foreigners. What's going on there? So let's see. The next one was Jerry Melton is right. Oh, yeah. Jerry Melton is right about needing to focus on finding out how and by whom Tyler Robinson and Lance Twigg and the other people that were on that Discord, because that's a group of people who are radicalizing. How did that happen? What's going on there? What about these other people in the Discord? Are they being investigated? I mean, you know, these same people, there's nothing to stop them to radicalize another one of their members tomorrow and go and kill somebody else. So that, and in that, really the FBI should be involved, because I do realize, this is under Utah jurisdiction. However, the radicalization would have happened across states, and particularly this is a a medium of communication, so that definitely comes under a Commerce Act. I forget which one it is, but so definitely the FBI. But yeah, what are we having? We have Kash Patel acting really, really suspicious. Um, and this comes from inside Intel. Um, so, and we can see it well. Kash Patel is uh, another story in and of itself. So, this is lacks total professionalism, what all the podcasters are doing, quite frankly. Then let's see. Yeah, and what the FBI. Yeah, and so like Gary Melton, I keep on making this point. Gary Melton's saying, well, we should be focusing on investigating what radicalized these things. Well, Gary Melton, why don't you call me? I've been talking about that, and I've been contacting America First Legal for at least 4 years, trying to get them to go to court against these people and clean up all of this shit. And I'm talking about, oh gosh, oh, okay. This thing keeps on raising its hand by itself. I was afraid it was going to stop, but I don't know why my system keeps on raising its hand and I'm all by myself. Sorry about that. So Gary Melton, yeah, go ahead and instead of criticizing others, go ahead and do this investigation. Let's get on it. I agree. And we can start with the feminist. Why the frick is Ed Martin? Ed Martin was good friends of Phyllis Schlafly. Phyllis Schlafly warned about the feminists. I've been studying the feminists. Why does Ed Martin ignore me? If I could get some lawyers on this, Baron Coleman, same can of worms. Everybody, America Legal First, so why? Well, I think America Legal First is doing it on purpose at this point, which gets into kind of where I'm going with who killed Charlie Kirk, what's going on with that assassination. Okay, so what does Candace and yeah, so what did Candace, even if the like the investigation, let's say we end up, we find out, okay, the Israelis were involved, which I think they are. I mean, I think this was a group effort. Uh, but so, or at least in terms of knowledge. Um, so what are they going to do about it? Like, come to Washington and start a demonstration? I mean, if we don't clean up Washington and clean up the swamp, then no, this will be all for naught. It would just wasted resources of a bunch of podcasters getting on the internet and entertaining. Yeah, it's been entertaining. I mean, thank you. I do not look forward to Christmases because I just count the year. This has been 19 years since I was separated from my sons. And I mean, I know the lies that they've been told as well. I mean, what I love is I was a juvenile delinquent and alcoholic and the whole, I mean, I was a Virginia Gouffre and I laugh. Oh, I know I didn't go to juvie. I went to Foxcroft School in Virginia. That's one of the most exclusive boarding schools in the East Coast. Well, that it was the robber barons traditionally. It's totally flipped. It's become woke. It's cost $70,000 a year to attend, 77 for international students. Yet it's an hour away from Washington. I can barely get a minimum wage job. And none of the lawyers will defend me because I represent white privilege and I've been offered up as a sacrificial lamb to atone for the sins of all of the robber baron heiresses. And people like Ed Martin and Baron Coleman and everybody else here. I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom. I mean, see, this is what I love, and I'm hoping that Mitch Snow, oh, come on board with me because he was a stay-at-home dad, and he was treated like a deadbeat when they got into court because he was a stay-at-home dad. See, even if you're a stay-at-home dad, you're a deadbeat. The misogyny, well, it's not even misogyny because even if you're a man, they hate you. But the hatred, just overt hatred for homemakers and stay-at-home moms is really, really concerning in this country. Um, so you know it also is reflective of several generations of a bunch of you know gold digging hoes infiltrating the society and taking over the country and wanting to have it at all and being prima donnas and screwing up their kids, and all of the kids are on some drugs, the parents are on other drugs. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies are having a field day, the drug cartels are having a field day, the military are having a field day because as we can see with Venezuela, hey, everybody making money, this is great. Okay, so what are they going to do? If you work with me, we do something about it. Okay, at this point, yeah, so I had said in my last video that I posted yesterday, again, Gary Melton, he just can't stop with Candace. So I'm like, okay, I gotta respond. I gotta respond because I want to get this on tape. But one of the things that I'm sitting there and that's too funny because Gary Melton says he's going to sue Mitch Snow for releasing the recording of their conversation because he didn't give permission. Now, somebody pointed out that, well, you said in on air that, well, I knew he was recording, or I knew he probably would. Well, you just admitted you gave consent. So he said, no, I never gave overt consent. I'm like, yeah, okay, you can argue that one in court. But so I even asked Baron Coleman this yesterday, but he didn't do it. You know, I paid $5 again for nothing. I mean, I have no money. I barely can pay rent, and these guys are raking in a fortune. And even if I pay for a question, they won't answer it. Um, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure also the fact that Gary Coleman did an entire podcast analyzing their conversation, which is recorded on the internet, and playing it himself on his platform. I think he just shot himself in the head again. See, obviously, okay, Gary Melton, there's a couple of motivations. First, I think he's just jealous, consumed with jealousy for Candace. And then second, even if he's not, being paid overtly by the military, that's his business. He trains soldiers. He's a gun fanatic. Um, so that's like there's a conflict of interest, of course, just by virtue of the fact that that's his business. He wants wars, and he's going to be threatened. He wants he wants to keep an autocratic fascist. I mean, he's one of the elements. I think Stephen Miller is in here. Within the military structure, and I think probably involved in the assassination. Well, the cover up, the planning and the cover up. Because the thing is, it's pretty clear that this was a sniper. The planning of this is more than the TPUSA executive committee. I'm sorry. They're like showing themselves to be so incompetent. This would be like the Three Stooges. Oh, I'm going to have to look for a clip of that. The Three Stooges going and planning something like this and how it would work out. Just saying. So, or like the Little Rascals is another. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Yeah, so what is looking bad right now for Erica Kirk is that the insurance policy, there was a life insurance policy on Charlie Kirk that had been bought and was being paid for by one of the various TP companies that they had set up. It was being paid for, but then I forget when this summer they did renew the registration. Something happened there, probably on purpose, because what is being said, I don't know who came out with this first, but what probably happened there was that then when Charlie Kirk died, the company didn't exist, so the life insurance policy could like kind of disappear. It wouldn't be on the radar of anybody. Um, so then, like, you have to file for so many, for the funds within so many days after death. So they just renewed the company just a couple of days before the deadline for filing to get the benefits of the life insurance policy. So I assume that was for that. That is very, very, very suspicious. I mean, in this case, and particularly the life insurance policy, the beneficiary was the CEO of Turning Point USA, which is logical. If the company is paying for the life insurance policy, then they're going to become the beneficiary because Charlie Kirk was the company or the nonprofit of it, Baron Coleman, and I agree with him. This is not a money-making business, and like what Charlie Kirk was earning it's standard fare in the philanthropic industries, but that's precisely one of the big problems. So because she's the CEO, then Erica Kirk gets the money, which of course makes it all look very, very, very suspicious. Now I'm going to be getting into like the occult stuff because that's in Arizona. So I'm still researching all of that. So but I will be starting to get into that in the coming slides, in the coming presentations. Um, so yeah, under suspicion in the TPUS team, just because they would have had, you know, if they hadn't, they wouldn't have reacted the way that they did during the shooting if that's really what kind of makes them under suspicion from the get-go. And the reactions and things that have happened. Andrew Colvin, Brian Harple, he's the security guard. He's the one who is supposed to have been seen at Fort Huachuca. And does tie in that the military is somehow involved in this. Of course, they would have had to have been. Andrew Colvin, this is what's getting Gary Melton really hot under the collar. Ben Shapiro, Mikey McKay and his father, and then there's some information coming out about the board members. There was a Valley guy. Where did I put this? Where was his name? Sorry, my blood pressure is going down, and it goes from my head, and I can't think sometimes when that happens. Okay, so let's see. I'll finish this up and get something to eat. Okay, so one of the things that, and I do believe the Trump administration, because if the Trump administration wasn't involved, then Kash Patel would be investigating this. So it's pretty evident that I think Trump knew J.D. Vance and Kash Patel. Other than that, I'm not really sure. So the problem with letting the case go to trial as is and everything, just let it run its course, We'll find out this evidence when we get to trial. Well, yeah, but the thing is the only thing what do they call it? The original documents in the hearing, what he's being tried for is the official narrative of the US government, which none of us are buying. So that's the only thing that the defense really cares about. People have even said, well, they've said the defense, yeah, they've been contacted by all of these people with conspiracy theories and stuff. The defense is not going to listen to you. I mean, I contacted Andrew Brettler and Prince Andrew case and said, I'll write you an amicus brief. You can put me on the stand as a witness, put me on a platform and give me a voice with what I know about the Me Too feminist movement and what's going on there, and we can combat it. Oh, no. We want to maintain the status quo. And I hope you'll look at the next video presentation I'm going to do, hopefully this afternoon, because I will get into that. I'll try and keep it short. I know nobody watches these things. Maybe someday somebody will. But everybody's like, well, why do you keep on all these years, sending letters to, different people in the government agencies or soliciting assistance from lawyers? Why do you keep up? Well, first off, I have to keep up because I'm establishing RICO, because the whole thing with the statute of limitations, I know that's going to be coming on hard when we get to the end of the line. That's going to be the most obvious defense everybody's going to pull out. And that's one of the first things that I'm going to be like, no fucking way. I have been keeping the torts. As long as the torts are ongoing, statute of limitation doesn't kick in. Now, the torts, I know we got lots of torts all over the place. I mean, this is like, oh my God, this is like Mount Everest. This is like, if somebody, yeah, I'm just a lone woman. If somebody doesn't help me, then again, check out my upcoming video. So this is what's concerning, and this is the thing is in a court case, there's no do-overs. They submit the evidence, he was guilty. Now you can appeal, but the appellate procedure, there's a lot of things that they don't look at. They're not going to look, they're going to look at, you know, uh, Baron Coleman can explain better exactly what would be looked at in all of this, but you can be like, oh well, no, it actually was somebody else. Well, why wasn't that presented at trial? You know, it's there's a lot of things that this goes through, and he is found guilty, and the death penalty, an innocent person, because I really do not think that he fired the shot that killed Charlie Kirk. Bobby Kennedy Jr., for years, I mean, his whole family was, no, 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 Sirhan, Sirhan. This is exactly the same case with the Kennedy family and the assassination of JFK and assassination of Robert Kennedy. Just drink the Kool-Aid, go on. Ethel Kennedy, she started her fraudulent nonprofit, which is now promoting LGBT rights. Well, homemaker rights are in the, basically homemakers are slaves and the worst piece of trash. I mean, that's the attitude everybody has. You know, Carrie Kennedy. Um, so yeah, that's what concerns me at this point, is that Tyler Robinson is will either be killed before we get to trial, you know, killed by suicide. We all know that one, um, or found guilty at trial, and then it'll be years and years and years and years and years, and you know, and maybe one day all of this investigation will happen and he'll get a pardon, or maybe he'll be killed. And I've always been against capital punishment. I can never understand how all of these pro-lifers, the rights of the unborn child, well, you don't give a shit about the rights of the born child, and then we end up with these violent people who go around killing people, raping and pillaging and all the rest. And the people who are pro-life, rights of the unborn child, are usually the ones who are pro-capital punishment. I remember one time I heard Charlie Kirk indicate that he was for capital punishment. I tell you, I was shocked. So anyway, I mean, that's always why I've been against, well, I've been against capital punishment, because I just don't think that anybody has the right. Isn't that one of the first commandments? Thou shalt not kill. So yeah, you can lock them away. I mean, that, you know, if somebody's dangerous to society, yes, they need to be removed. That danger needs to be removed. But nobody but God has the right to take anybody's life. That simple. Um, so okay, so those are my notes. That's and what I think is happening in the Charlie Kirk investigation, and at this point, who think done it. I mean, what was the guy? I forget his name. Um, who was insisting on Candace Owens saying who she thought did it, because what they want is to get her to accuse somebody of something, then they got you. They got you. And that's why all the pressure is being put on her to, you know, you're doing all this stuff, but where is it going? It's not going anywhere. Well, yeah, it is, but you know, we're still investigating, and we don't know. Um, or the podcasters are investigating. And the thing is, Okay, I'm again gonna say the thing about your in mails boxes, and you keep on saying, "Oh, but we just have so many emails; it's just not possible." Well, Ian Carroll, we know he has the capabilities. Get on it and do some triage. I think you can even get this on one of the internet platforms, a plug-in for your web designers on having different, put in like a type of survey or something, why people are contacting you. Do triage. Why are you contacting me? What is this about? Is this a specific tip? Is this about this issue? And they would have to fill in a little, form or something, and you get them into different. I mean, I've been telling Congress and all of the elected officials, Bobby Kennedy campaign, I told him to do that because it was the same issue. Well, nobody's responding to our emails. I said, I know, I have the same issue. I've had the same issue every freaking place. And I know why from my time at the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and every restaurant I've worked in ever since. I mean, this whole thing about GDP, forget GDP. That's bullshit. This country is going to the dogs. Okay, so now I've ranted and raved. Well, have a nice day. I'll see you this afternoon when at least I got my blood pressure up. That's always a good thing when I get angry.